We are live, Mark.
Live. We are back and live with you guys today. Thank you guys for joining us here on Kentucky Talks. Mark and Steve are going to bring some news. We're going to talk a little basketball. We're going to just get into all around what's going on in Kentucky today. So
that is so right, Mark. From legendary teams to unforgettable moments, Kentucky's contributions, and to college basketball are immense. It's a source of pride for many Kentuckians, and I'm excited to get into it.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So let's go right up. Let's go right in. So Kentucky plays tonight.
Yep.
At 7:10 p.m. We're playing Troy. Again, forgive me. I've lost what Troy's mascot is. But they are.
I'll look it up for you. Go ahead.
They are on tonight. It's we should have the full allotment of the available players, but Jackson Robinson is out for the season. So is Kirk Risa. But important for us right now is having Lamont Butler back. So Lamont Butler will be in the lineup tonight. He's expected to be, and barring any other injury, and thinks we should be, pretty much full bore.
T. Roy, the Trojan.
The Trojans. It makes sense.
T-Roy, Troy.
I wanted to say Trojans, but I wasn't quite sure.
I saw T-Roy. I saw T-Roy over there wearing that gladiator costuming, looking real good out there. I'll tell you. I'll see.
So I'll tell you. I put in my bracket. Have you put in a bracket? Did you do any brackets?
I don't know if you know, Lucinda's on our team here at the Messenger Studios and the Messenger newspaper, and she said, "Okay, I got a team." She does this whole presentation. It's amazing. I got to fill out my bracket and get it to her. But she said she's already included the brackets that have won, so I'm a little late. I don't get to win the Elon Musk, thing, but I'm gonna be a team player in the vibe of the office and make that happen. But as we get into the first segment and we get into some more of the NCAA and the tournament, did you hear about the Kentucky man who becomes an instant millionaire?
I did not hear about
Kentucky.
That. I read about it a little bit ago, but it's that's pretty interesting. He won on a scratch off a $20 casino. Was it called Casino Nights?
Casino Nights, and won the $1 million top prize. Evidently, the lucky winner is trying to. It's a Henderson County man. So it's not anybody in Meade County. I just wanted you to know.
Henderson's not far.
No, it's not. But it's
And it's like Henderson County is like, what is that, Owensboro area or something like that? Well, Owensboro is actually Davies, a little bit further south of it.
It was a $30 ticket. You paid $30.
I thought it was $20, but okay.
It's a Casino Nights ticket for $30 at Ideal Mart on South Green Street in Henderson last month. Anyway, so his name isn't out there. If I won a lottery ticket, Mark, I think I would be going to I would go and get a trust. I'd get it all set up. I'd go put a safety deposit box at the bank, and I go put that in the safety deposit box so it doesn't get mistakenly lost or misplaced.
Right.
All right. I would go meet with my attorney, get a trust set up, and I would instantly have the trust act on behalf of the lottery ticket, and then I'd fill out the back of the lottery ticket to match the trust,
right? So
that I wouldn't have to announce all of that.
I think I'm with you. I think that the number one thing that I'm not sure, but if you read the rules, it says when you actually turn it in that you have to give the ability for your name and image to be used in advertising. So there may not be a workaround like that. A corporation cannot win the lottery, so it may not allow you to win through a trust. I don't know. But that's what a lawyer comes in for, right? That's where the lawyer comes in.
That's exactly right.
But still, I'm with you as far as you trying to put it into a hands, get a trust attorney, let them look at it, see how it works, because I'm with you as far as that's how I would handle it. I would put all the money into a trust. I would pay off all my debt, put everything else into a trust, and then and because when you put something into a trust, that it goes beyond you and your lifetime. It continues into the future and helps your future generations.
Yeah. Generational wealth is what they call it.
Yeah, exactly. Generational wealth. And so if I had it all to do over again, I would have bought some land. I would have started a trust much earlier in my life. And
well, I trust you.
I trust you too. But you have to, but that's what it's about. I mean, there are ways, if So if you win money out there, there's other ways of dealing with this money than just getting it, putting it in your bank account and spending it. It's, there's ways for you to work through to make sure you pay. You're obviously going to pay your taxes up front, but once you've paid those initial taxes, now you put it into a trust, and that money
trust pays the taxes.
The trust pays taxes, and it creates this generational wealth, and it continually makes money. And you're still in control of the trust, and then therefore you can figure out how to invest the money throughout the trust. But the money comes back into the trust,
absolutely.
And then you can borrow from the trust. You can do things like that. So,
there was. Going into our next segment. That's you. You're up.
So the next segment is, sorry about that, guys. I'm making off my notes there. So the next segment we have is the Kentucky Wildcats. We're staying on that trail. So the Kentucky Wildcats tonight will play at 7, like I said, 7:10 against the Troy Trojans. And we have, we do expect that Lamont Butler will be back playing for them. This is in the round of 64. We were talking about that earlier. The round of 64 is it's a kind of a newer name for this round. Several years ago, in the early 80s, they changed the tournament from to a 64 team tournament, and so the first round was 64 teams, so we're 32 games. So several years ago now, I don't know, it's probably been 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago, they added in the first 4. There was such controversy about who was left out of the tournament. They added 4 teams to allow to have a play-in for those final 4 spots.
Right.
So they picked 60 from they picked all the conference winners, and then they had the at-large, and then they picked an extra 4 at large, and said, okay, we're going to pit these teams together. Whoever wins would be so basically the first 4 in and the first 4 out are going to play to see who gets those spots.
Right.
It's made it interesting. It actually starts the tournament on a Tuesday rather than the Thursday, so you have 2 games on Thursday, 2 games on Wednesday, and so on. It's interesting, but along with that meant that we had to change the name of the rounds. So it went from a round of 60 from the first round to a round of 64,
right?
Because technically the first round is those first 4 play-in games.
You want to hear that? Yeah, winning my team. What's up? All news can't be good news, though. In the news, that's the news across the nation, though. Mark, there's some bad stuff happening in Kentucky too right now.
Like what?
The thunderstorms, man.
Yeah.
All of that news that went around, including a devastating hailstorm that caused significant damage to homes and businesses and vehicles. Those things leave a lot of destruction behind. We're in the same storm time frame. We're hoping the Kentucky Wildcats bring a storm on the floor, but we've got things to deal with here locally too.
Yeah. So it is this time of year. We talked about this on our last show that. This time of year is very, very. We take our weather very seriously here. We've had a couple of storms move through the last couple of weeks with some hail, some high winds, and that's typical for this time of year, especially in Kentucky. And really and truly, it's probably going to continue. But we've had so we're wanting people to make sure that they are safe. Make sure that you have a plan so that if severe weather comes up on you, that you know exactly what you're going to do, what part of the house to go to. Do you have a radio or something so you can get some information and things like that? So be careful out there. The house and things. The most important piece is to keep you and your family safe first.
Right.
Then worry about what's going on with your house and such. But that's what insurance and things like that are for.
And you and I talked about this on the Friday before that, those storms rolled in. Be prepared, be safe. But the impact is just so devastating.
It is.
And I know that in Kentucky, that's one of the things I love about this state is that we do a great job pulling together Christian groups, the just communities all in general, and they just really come out and help.
It doesn't matter how small it is. It's like if you have and I'll give you a little bit of an example. We had a need at church just the other day, right? We on last Sunday we discussed that. Hey, we had a late addition of food coming from Feeding America, what have you, but they had to be here on Monday. Normally we get our food on Tuesdays and stuff.
I probably should have went through that line, man. I'm telling you what, this grocery bill is killing me.
I'm telling you, grocery bills are. I mean, it used to be. We'll get into that in a second. But let me finish my example. Yeah. So we had this. So we had a need, and just by asking, they had so many people. They almost had to turn people away to come help.
Wow.
And that's what it's like to live in this community in Kentucky in general. Is you asked, and people showed up to help.
That's right.
Just to unload pallets, make sure the food's ready to hand out on Tuesday, and then people came back on Tuesday to help. So
that's awesome.
It is. But you were saying. You were saying about the grocery bill. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like we go
that and the electric bill. The electric bill's been high this year, and the grocery bill's been high this year.
So the electric bill is about usage. We can do a segment on why electric bill's up. My electric bill was up, but I've lost the panel off my house. One of my solar panels is not functioning, so. That takes off about 300 watts of power, all day long. So that all adds up, and next thing you know, you're paying for that. Plus, the business is out of the house and stuff, so we use a lot of electricity anyway. But this winter, we got hit with our biggest bill in several years. So, and it wasn't. Wasn't too bad, but it's it wasn't as bad as other people have, but it's still pretty bad.
I'll let you take us in the next segment.
So the next segment we have up is the GOP lawmakers, and have Kentucky GOP lawmakers in conversion therapy. Kentucky lawmakers have voted to protect conversion therapy, a practice considered controversial. So this decision has generated lots and lots of tons of controversy.
Yeah.
And what it is when you're pastor or what have you, when you have a child,
healthcare workers,
when you have a child that is saying, "Hey, I think I might be the wrong gender" or something along those lines, and a parent generally, it kind of hits a parent pretty quickly, and they want to go and talk to a therapist or whatever. Well, sometimes that therapist is a licensed a psychiatrist or psychologist, and others are, but that also may be a pastor or it may be a healthcare worker or something of that nature. And conversion therapy. There was I think it was the governor or something who said that conversion therapy was basically illegal. And he did it through an executive order.
Yeah.
And so what we're saying is that what the legislature has now done is said, no, it's not illegal for you to take your child to a professional or a therapist, and for that therapist to then work them through their issues and allow them to see. If you allow a child to dictate, a child may come and say something, and they don't know all the information. They don't have all the information to make decisions on things. And if you allow them, if you say, well, nobody can come give you advice otherwise, then you're doing a disservice. You're hurting that child, because that child may not have a problem.
Yeah.
But if you go to a therapist and the therapist says, well, there may be that the child may have a problem. So going to a therapist, first of all, is a good thing. And the second thing is the therapist may say, well, this child doesn't really have a problem. They have an active imagination or something like that. But you wouldn't even be allowed to say that under Governor Beshear's executive order, so you would be in trouble. You could lose your licensing or things like that.
I know the discussion has sparked a lot of debate and concern among various communities and advocacy groups. It definitely is a topic that continues to divide opinions. At the end of the day, there are. I think the problem is defining what is therapy and what is conversion therapy, right? Because I think there is a strong agreement or concurrence that no, I don't want any child to go through something where they strap them to a chair, tie them down, and try to change their thoughts. That is the extreme version of that has often been depicted.
That's what everybody wants you to think.
Yeah, but
that's what the opposition to this wants you to think. But it's not.
But
that's
there
not
has
what
to
it
be
is.
a clarity about what it is and what are those restrictions, because I think it gets after what is a parent's rights before government starts just dictating what you
parents
can't do.
Have to,
what are my
parents have to raise their kids.
Yes.
It was never intended for the government to raise your children, and what happened is over time people have taken it a little bit more. People who don't even want children. Have created this problem, and that's the thing that gets me is if there's the same people who are saying that we are overpopulated and we need to reduce our number of children so they don't have children are now telling us how to raise the children that we have, and the reason is because they can't raise their own children because they've made a vow not to have children. So now they want to have it both ways.
Clearly, there is some divide, right?
There absolutely is some divide.
I don't know. This next topic is definitely up your alley.
Well, we're back into Wildcats.
Well, it's because there's a reason. There's some little significance there. It looks like.
So if you look at this, the question is how. What is Kentucky's role in March Madness? How did it help develop the March Madness and things like that? And Kentucky always played a significant role in the history of March Madness and the birth of the bracket basketball. So Kentucky's contributions to college basketball include legendary teams and unforgettable moments. You had the Duke, the great Duke.
You
Kentucky
always
game.
Duke, Kentucky.
I always go to that, and then the shot. I remember I was at my uncle's house in Ohio. And from that point on, I hated if I had to travel to if I was traveling at this time of year. Maybe call it a little superstition or whatever, but I did not like watching the tournament away from home.
You wanted to be glued to your TV.
I want to be not just glued to the TV.
Come out here, everybody screaming in the neighborhood.
But it's a little bit of a superstition. It's like Kentucky. I felt like if I was at home, Kentucky was going to have a better shot at winning. And of course, it's just silliness. But in reality,
that was back in 1992, I think. It was.
It was 1992.
103, 102.
That's right. That's right. There's not a Kentucky fan that can't tell you why they hate. They can't tell you why they hate Christian Laettner. So. Yeah, because who hit the shot to go up? Who hit the shot that put Kentucky up 102-101 was Sean Woods. And then Christian Laettner with 2.1 seconds left. We all know it's ingrained in us as Kentucky fans. We know what happened. But
79-foot inbound pass down the court, which Laettner caught, and then
we should have put somebody on the inbounder. I'm telling you. Grant Hill's the one that passed it to Christian Laettner, and it was just a baseball pass. He caught it around just outside the foul line and took a dribble to the right, turned to his left, and put it up a pop. It was and won at the buzzer. I mean, it's one of the greatest moments in college basketball history. And
looking up forward to this exciting year too, right?
Absolutely. I mean, Duke is playing right now, and they are They have a commanding lead.
I'm ready to go home and turn it on. As a matter of fact.
Well, I mean, it might be over by the time you get home.
Well,
but
I'm trying.
So right now, Duke is up. Spoiler alert: Duke is up 63-34 on Mount St. Mary. So
you're killing me.
This game is pretty much at hand for the Blue Devils. If you want to talk about other things going on right now. So far in the tournament, Auburn has you've had Auburn and Creighton have advanced. They will play on they'll play on Saturday. Michigan Michigan held court against UC San Diego, and they are coming up against Texas A&M also on Saturday. Let's see. So far today, Iowa State has won. Let's see. Texas. So yesterday, Texas Tech and Drake both won. Now Drake was an upset. Drake was an 11 seed who beat the 6 seed Missouri.
Yeah.
And they did it pretty handily. I mean, it was 67-57. So Missouri struggled in the last part of the SEC as well. So they played really well up until about that last 2 weeks, and they've struggled ever since. So not sure what happened there, but it's just one of the things. Another surprise was Arkansas upset Kansas in the first round, in the opening round here, in the round of 64, 79-72. So they advanced, and now they're playing St. John's. That's going to be very interesting because that brings John Calipari at Arkansas against Rick Pitino at St. John's. So
sounds exciting.
That's going to be an exciting Saturday of basketball. You have another big one that really surprised me was McNeese State beating Clemson. In the opening round. I had Clemson in my bracket. In one of my brackets, I have 3 brackets. I have my Kentucky bracket. I always put a Kentucky bracket together first. Then I have a bracket where I thought every game through, and I had Clemson going out and at least playing against Houston. And I think in one of those brackets, I had them actually beating Houston and going to the Elite Eight. But wow, it's going to be, it didn't work out that way. But that's March.
It's going to be the maddest time around. Thanks for tuning in for the 5th episode of Kentucky Talks with Mark and myself, Steve. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Join us on our social media.
Like and subscribe. And share it with your friends, guys.
We are on podcast, Spotify, Amazon, Apple. Check us out on your drive.
Thanks, everyone. Y'all have a great weekend.